I'm Claire Strempel, Managing Editor of the KTOO Newsroom. In the last 6 months, we've doubled our newsroom to be fully staffed with 4 beat reporters and a morning news host. We're doing our best work to keep you connected to the news you need to be safe, to be informed, and to be a community. Work like ours is on the line with the recent federal funding cut to public media, a third of KTOO's budget. You can help with a donation at ktoo.org. Thank you.
From listener-supported KTOO, welcome to Juneau Afternoon, broadcasting live from the homelands of the Occoquan and on demand as a podcast. It's Friday, August 22nd, 2025. I'm your host, Boston Christopher Gunnath Hawa, Tuksuk Newsome, Salamat. Thank you for joining the conversation. You can also join us via our live stream on YouTube at ktoo.org/JPMLive or on KTOO's Instagram and Facebook pages. Coming up this hour, we chat with a couple gardeners about the upcoming Juneau Community Garden Annual Harvest Fair and how you can participate. We preview CBJ Parks and Recreation Community Day happening tomorrow, August 23rd, with food, activities, and music for the whole family. We share a new feature, a Juneau Afternoon Calendar Delight, which today features Brown Sugar Productions. And today we begin with the Juneau panel discussion, changes to federal health care coverage. It's happening at Centennial Hall next Tuesday, August 26th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. It will feature 4 panelists discussing recent federal policy changes impacting access to federal health care coverage and how these changes, most importantly, will affect health care coverage for many individuals and families here in Alaska. And today we have one of the panelists, Anton Rieselbach, Program Officer at Juneau Economic Development Council. Gunnath, how are you, Anton?
Good afternoon. I'm well.
Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And also we have host and moderator Terry Tibbett from AK Advocates. Terry, how are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you both here. This is a huge topic. It's recent. It's all part of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed not too long ago. And Terry, first, before we get into some of the things that we might learn at this panel, how did this panel come about?
Well, I think there are a few people in the community that are curious about some of the impacts of H.R. 1, also known as the One Big Beautiful Bill. H.R. 1 passed in early July, and it was signed into law. And a lot of the changes to that bill are going to be taking place over time. And there's a lot of impacts just across lots of topics. But the topic that matters to me in the world that I work in and have worked in for the last 30 years is the area of people with disabilities, people with mental health and substance use disorders, intellectual developmental disabilities, seniors, and just people that have a lot of challenges and who are most likely to be impacted by some of the changes to the health care provisions that were in that bill.
Okay.
So it was sort of just the interest was there to gather experts. I'm not the expert, but to gather the experts to come together and present a panel for the community so the community can get their answers.
In addition to Anton, who else is on the panel on Tuesday?
Kim Champney, she is the executive director of the Alaska Association on Developmental Disabilities. So she's one of the panelists. She's going to be speaking. on topics on impacts to people with intellectual developmental disabilities. And also on the panel is Shannon Hendricks from SAIL, which is our local organization, Southeast Alaska Independent Living, and she's going to talk about some of the front end or impacts to people who are like seniors, people who are maybe coming in at the front door of the disability world, the senior world.
Okay, great. And is Will Jemison still on?
I'm sorry, Will Jemison, of course. Yes, I just completely let that slip my brain.
It's all good.
So Will Jemison he's the executive director of the JAMI Health and Wellness here in Juneau, and he's going to be talking about impacts to people with mental illness, substance use disorders. JAMI also provides primary care, like physical care, not just mental health and substance abuse treatment, but also primary care. And so he's going to talk about some of the impacts to that demographic too.
Excellent. And then Anton, you'll be on the panel as well, and you're representing the Juneau Economic Development Council, which has a lot of information and knowledge about everything in terms of population and other aspects here in Juneau, which is something cool.
He's going to talk about a specific aspect of the bill too.
Absolutely,
Which is...
Yeah, totally happy to speak on that a little bit. I'm going to be covering some of the broad implications to the Affordable Care Act, specifically coverage obtained through the federal marketplace.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Well, we'll get to that in just a second. I just wanted to set up the whole panel itself. It's happening at Centennial Hall, and it's going to be in the Sheffield Ballroom. And again, it's Tuesday, August 26th. That's next Tuesday from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Terry, do people have to register, or is this an open forum? Anybody can just show up to this?
Open forum. Anybody can just show up.
Okay, great. I just wanted to set
No
that up.
cost, no fee or anything.
Yeah. And that's excellent, and that's wonderful. And so we want to talk a little bit about what's going to be happening, what's impacted a few of the things. And Terry's going to be hosting, moderating, and she has some information that Shannon gave her because Shannon couldn't be here today. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But this bill, the bill covers so many other things, but the things that this particular panel is going to be discussing are the impacts to Medicaid, Medicare, the health insurance marketplace, and also the tax credits. And what this is going to be affecting families, seniors, Alaskans living with intellectual developmental disabilities, behavioral health disorders, small businesses, the self-employed, part-time, and seasonal workers. It's going to cover a lot of different people. So I'm just trying to get the sense, if you're listening and you're one of those folks, that this panel might be something you want to get to, just so you can see what's coming down the pike. Because as Terry mentioned, or maybe Anton mentioned, some of these things don't begin for a while, but they're good to know about so you can plan ahead and kind of in advance. And let's start with some of the notes that you have on Medicaid. I know that one of the biggest changes in the Medicaid is this, people have heard about this probably, this work requirement. Do you have notes on that? Can you tell us a little bit about what that means?
I do. So let me just first, for people who don't know what Medicaid is,
sure.
Let me just say that Medicaid is a partnership. It's a partnership between the state and the federal government to provide health insurance for low-income residents, Alaskans, and it includes children. They highlight children, pregnant women, families, senior citizens, and individuals with developmental disabilities, and for people who meet specific income, eligibility. But it's people who really need it. It's not just like willy-nilly health care for anybody. It's people who are, like I said, children, pregnant women, families, seniors, and people with disabilities. So it provides this public health insurance so people can afford to get long-term care and short-term care, and you have to be eligible for it. You have to fill out a lot of paperwork, and you have to keep your eligibility up, and you have to report your income, and there's all sorts of things. With the changes in the federal bill related to work requirements that you just talked about. Up until this point, people can get health insurance through Medicaid, and they just live their lives and maintain their eligibility. As a result of the bill, they will now certain people, a lot of the people actually who receive their health insurance from Medicaid will be required to work. And this looks like you'd have to volunteer or get a job or participate in some job training for at least 20 hours per week, unless you're exempt due to illness, pregnancy, caring for dependents, or other factors. So there's some exemptions, but it's really going to require that a lot of the people who can work will be required to work. There's another demographic that's exempt, and that's Alaska Natives will be exempt, and also people living in high unemployment areas. So there's a lot of rural communities in Alaska that will be exempt from people in those areas will be exempt from having to work. The number that I have in front of me here is these work requirements, could result in an estimated 14,000 Alaskans losing coverage if their health care insurance. They'd lose that coverage if they can't comply with the paperwork or the work mandates. And just keep in mind that it's not just if they don't do the work. A lot of people want to do the work. They will do the work. But because they have a disability and may not be able to keep up with the paperwork requirements, they may have technical difficulties and can't get online, or who knows the kinds of barriers that people with disabilities experience. But if they can't do the paperwork to keep themselves eligible, then they will lose coverage, and that's a big concern.
Because what I was reading was that there was something that this is a monthly requirement that they have to report that they worked these 80 hours or volunteered these 80 hours. Work is a quote-unquote definition, because there's many things that could be part of that. And I know that they were saying that overall it might affect 5 million Americans because of what you're talking about, rural communities, places where there may not be places to volunteer, or the job employment might be really low. And things like that. So you're saying that this could affect 14,000 Alaskans. That's a big number.
It could impact 14,000 Alaskans, is what I see here. Losing coverage. That's how many people would lose coverage if they cannot comply. So let's just say there's 14,000 people who are eligible now, and if those 14,000 or any number of those 14,000 can't comply, then it could be up to 14,000 losing their coverage.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Yep.
And these things don't take effect until January 1st of 2027, right?
Different things take.
Okay.
There's
different things or different time periods?
different provisions in the bill have different implementation dates, and the work requirements one. I don't have it in front of me. So
what I looked up was that it was January 1st, 2027.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing that.
For this work requirement
Got it.
eligibility. But there is, of course, and this is one reason you want to go to the panel, because you're going to learn a lot of information. Who's exempt? How do you become exempt from having to do the work requirement? Those are all things that you will want to learn. Obviously, they had some that I found that said, children under 13 are exempt, right? The caregiver for a disabled relative. There's a bunch of different things that you could be eligible to be exempt from this work requirement, quote-unquote work requirement. So definitely make sure you get to the Sheffield Ballroom at Centennial Hall next Tuesday, August 26th, and you can find out more. And I'm sure you can also find out more from the various organizations who are involved, and I'm sure you're going to be seeing news stories about this as well. So Anton, you are going to be discussing another particular area of impact here. What is that?
So I'm going to be mostly talking about the impacts to coverage obtained on the federal marketplace.
Okay.
So this is for individuals, typically seasonal or gig workers, people that are self-employed or business owners, early retirees who aren't eligible currently for Medicaid, and others who don't rely on employer-based healthcare coverage and need to purchase it privately. So what the marketplace does essentially is it offers subsidies for these types of individuals depending on their income level. And these subsidies allow the monthly premiums that you have to pay for your health insurance coverage to be significantly lower than they otherwise would be. So these plans typically range from $1,000 to $1,200 in premiums per month, and this is before any deductible or out-of-pocket maximum kicks in. With the subsidies, the average drops down to significantly to about $150 to $250 per month. So it really makes healthcare affordable for a lot of these individuals.
Wow. Okay. And so, what are some of the changes coming to this part of the Affordable Care Act?
So the most significant changes pertain to the enhanced premium tax credits, which were ushered into existence in 2020 as part of the American Rescue Plan. This was to ensure that Americans had ample coverage during the COVID pandemic. So what these changes did is that there were previously subsidies based on your federal, your income level in relation to the federal poverty level that was determined for the prior year. These basically made it so that the government covered more of the cost depending on your income tract, and it also expanded eligibility for individuals who make over 400% above the federal poverty line, which is a significant amount of people. And once these enhanced tax credits, which are set to expire at the beginning of next year, on January 1st, 2026, once these expire, a significant portion of people will no longer have access to subsidies whatsoever, and you can see their costs balloon by over $1,000 per month. Just for the premium, or for individuals who still qualify based on the federal poverty level of 0% up to 400% above the federal poverty line. For those individuals, they will still maintain a certain level of subsidy, but it will be a slightly lower subsidy. And there's a ton of factors here at play, like the amount of people within your household, your age, your risk factors, et cetera. So it's hard to come up with one number for an expected increase. So really it depends on your specific situation. But broadly, these impacts are going to be felt most significantly by individuals who are middle to higher income and rely on enhanced premium tax credits to afford their health insurance.
So it sounds like this was a little bit of a rollback from some COVID era implementation that they put in for folks. But you need to know this information because if that benefit's going to run out as soon as January, you're saying, what do? Are there going to be other programs or other things available to folks to try to figure out how to continue that subsidy, or is that some knowledge that you all have, or things are trying to be figured out?
So there's currently discussion, on the federal level. A lot of individuals and a lot of Congress people want to extend the enhanced premium tax credits because these provide a lot of economic benefits. If they expire, a lot of people will choose just to not enroll at all in any health insurance plan because the annual cost for their premiums would be comparable to the cost of a catastrophic medical event.
Right.
So that calculation is no longer beneficial in the favor of purchasing a health insurance plan. So there are some negative economic effects that would definitely occur as a result of these subsidies expiring. And, the state of Alaska has come out and said that there is some possibility that Alaska will be less adversely affected than other states for a couple of factors. One being lower expected increases in premiums just generally within the state this next year. So typically, premiums just themselves, not related to the enhanced premium tax credits, will increase in cost. And that is not happening to nearly as significant of a degree this next year. And also there is a $50 billion rural health transformation fund included as as part of the most recent budget reconciliation bill. And it's currently unclear of how exactly that's going to be implemented, but because of Alaska's high rural population, the state stands to benefit more from this fund. But it's unclear currently, and this will definitely be a significant loss for those individuals who currently are receiving the enhanced premium tax credits.
Yes, Terry.
So so that's the positive potential right there. And but on the other end of the spectrum, if people lose their health insurance, okay, so they don't qualify for Medicaid, so they're not getting state subsidy, insurance. So here they are trying to work, get a job, and pay for their own health insurance through the health insurance marketplace. And if these monthly premiums go up so much, if the enhanced premium tax credits go away and those premiums go up, and they can't afford that extra $1,000 a month or whatever it is, they could feasibly stop getting their health insurance at all, so that now they'll be uninsured. And where do people go when they're uninsured to get their health care, they go to the emergency room hospital, and they get sick, and they let their disease or whatever the problem is get worse and worse and worse until it becomes such a high cost affair, and then they end up in the hospital. And hospitals, who pays for our hospital in this town? It's, the city pays for it. I mean, well, it's a variety of, it's a combination of factors, but it ends up falling on the local and the state and the federal government to pay for people who are uninsured. So it can be it's the potential for it being really disastrous for the community, or it's there. And if I can say one last thing, the ability to extend these enhanced premium tax credits, it's in the hands of Congress right now. So the way we're encouraging folks to contact the federal delegation, our congressional representatives in Congress, Senator Murkowski, Senator Sullivan, and Representative Begich, and just remind them of their personal interest in this if they care, and then and encourage them to extend these enhanced premium tax credit.
Well, you can learn more about this yourself at the Juneau panel discussion, Changes to Federal Health Care Coverage. It's happening next Tuesday at Centennial Hall. That's Tuesday, August 26th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Again, 4 panelists, including Anton Rieselbach, who's a program director at JEDC, Shannon Hendricks, program coordinator at SAIL, Will Jemison, executive director of JAMI Health and Wellness, and Kim Champney, executive director of AADD. And Terry Tibbett, who will be moderating and hosting this event. A lot of changes coming. Get yourself educated, go to this panel, learn about some of these changes and what you may need to do in the future to continue and monitor your health coverage. I really appreciate you both being here. Gwyneth Cheesh, it was a pleasure to learn a little bit about this topic. I know I was on the webs myself trying to figure out some of these things because it can get complicated with law and reading it and breaking it down and trying to figure it out. And the easiest way is go listen to these experts on Tuesday. I really appreciate you being here, Gwyneth Cheesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now something new. Juneau Afternoon Calendar Delights, highlighting an upcoming local event happening in Juneau. Enjoy.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Miles with Brown Sugar Productions, and this is a Juneau Afternoon Calendar Delight. Brown Sugar Productions will be hosting a Labor of Love R&B Diva event on August the 28th at 7 p.m. Doors open up at 6:30. We will be at the Gold Town Theater located at 171 Shattuck Way. We've had the honor of opening up for legendary acts like the former Ladies of the Supremes and Killer Priest. Our powerhouse vocals have moved audiences to tears with a soul-stirring performance. Now join us as we bid a heartfelt farewell to summer in Alaska. Come out for a soulful night on the town and experience the magic as we grace the stage and pay tribute to some of the greatest R&B legends of all time. You can purchase tickets on Eventbrite. You can visit Brown Sugar Productions Facebook page, or you can call 907-419-0253. Let the music move you one last time this summer. Thank you.
That's a Juneau Afternoon Calendar Delight. If you'd like to have your event featured, please send us an email at juneauafternoon@ktoo.org, and we will get you set up with instructions on how you can submit. This is Juneau Afternoon from KTOO. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, providing Juneau with locally roasted coffee for over 40 years, with cafes and drive-through locations throughout Juneau. More at heritagecoffee.com.
Hanson Grass, Ka eat with the shuyi, where Kashuk ayitin. Jin kat ka kay jin tak anakaya ha anikak, Gwyneth Cheesh.
You're listening to KTOO's Tlingit Word of the Week. This week's word comes from Kushtaq Bill Fawcett. And the word this week is chas.
Chas.
That means pink salmon or humpy. And here's a sentence.
The
The humpy really flowed along. Let's hear it again.
Chas.
Pink salmon or humpy. Gunashjish Juneau Lance Twitchell, Goldbelt Heritage Foundation, and the University of Alaska at Southeast for this audio.
Kushtaq Ish Bill Fawcett was Slukach Ati and the child of a southern Shoshone man who passed away before Bill was born. His mother later married Sihua Bill Fawcett, who helped raise Bill. He lived on Akquan Ani and enjoyed working with advanced language learners, helping them answer difficult questions about the language.
Tune in next week for another Tlingit Word of the Week from KTOO.
You are listening to community-supported Juneau Afternoon on KTOO at 104.3 Juneau, 91.7 Juneau Auk Bay, and online at ktoo.org. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. You can also join us in the studio for a behind-the-scenes look on KTOO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. And if you notice, if you're on the stream, we've been gifted some flowers here in the studio. We're talk about that because Saturday, August 30th, is the Juneau Community Gardens Annual Harvest Fair. It's the annual farmers market and gardeners exhibit that brings out the best from Juneau's gardeners. And I have two of those gardeners in the studio with me now. I have Heather Brandon, Gunith Shwasiati. Heather, how are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you.
And Cynthia Crable, Gunith Shwasiati. Cynthia, nice to see you again.
Same to you.
Okay, and you are both gardeners. That
Yep.
is so amazing. Okay, and so let's start with what did you bring here today?
Yeah, I just thought you might like a little bit of color in your studio, so I brought
Always.
you some things from my garden. The flowers, the bright flowers are dahlias,
Okay.
and the wispy green and yellow stuff is dill.
Dill, okay.
Yeah.
And what did you say these bright ones are?
Dahlias.
Dahlias,
Yeah.
okay. Those are fascinating. And you grow these in your garden at home?
In my garden at home and in my community garden plot that I
In your
have.
plot, yes.
Yeah, right, down on off the back loop on Montana Creek Road.
On Montana Creek
There's
Road, because that is Juneau Community Garden, right, Cynthia? It is a collective plots that people can get. I know there's a waiting list, always a waiting list.
We filled our waiting list this year.
You filled it. You mean you got everybody on the waiting list
And we had a lot.
Oh, wow.
I
So
know.
everybody has a plot now.
Everyone does.
Wow, that's amazing.
But we will be taking orders for next year.
For more plots.
At the Harvest Fest. People can sign up if they're interested.
Okay, that is so cool. Now, the Harvest Festival I mentioned is happening not tomorrow, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. We're off next week, Juneau Afternoon, so we're having you in a little bit early but it also gives people time to prepare. Because this isn't just a place that you can go and look at stuff. You can also exhibit your own stuff, even if you're not a member of the Juneau Community Garden, right, Heather?
Right, that's part of the fun of the Harvest Fair is any Juneau gardener can bring something to exhibit. It could be a flower, fruit, vegetable. There's all these different categories. I think even jarred or canned goods.
That's true.
Okay. And also vegetable sculptures, which we talked about, I think, last year. They're fun. And their kids can enter things from their garden if they gardened it, if they grew it.
Right.
And so,
And all kids are guaranteed a ribbon. So
Nice.
A participation ribbon to encourage little ones.
Of course, you got to give them the gold star, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And so there's many different categories, but that is very important. Like these are things that you've done yourself, that you've grown or made from the things you've grown.
right. Don't go buy a potato and then enter it. It should be something you grew in Juneau. It doesn't have to be a community garden member. It can be anyone in Juneau. And you get to take it home if you wait till the end of the Harvest Fair after the judging. You can take it home. So it's not like a salmon derby where you have to give it up. Right. You get to have it and eat it if you want to. So.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Good point.
And so these events begin at 9 a.m. Is that right?
You can bring your exhibit and enter it at 9 a.m., but I think we're expecting people at, Cynthia?
I would say no later than 10:30. If you have an exhibit that closes at 10:30, I would say people show up about 9, and FYI, the bake sale starts early this year at 9:30.
And this is for folks who are entering things in, right? Because the fair opens to the public at 11, or can you show
It's
up?
a little confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can show up anytime after 9.
Anytime after 9.
Yeah. If a person wanted to drop off something for the exhibits, they could walk around the garden, have a snack. There, kids' games. There are things to do.
Because when you say the fair opens to the public at 11, but the bake sale starts at 9:30,
Yeah.
I'm going to show up at 9:30.
Agreed, me too.
I would encourage that.
Yeah, okay. Because those things, I'm assuming, go fast.
They do.
Yeah, those things go pretty fast.
For sure.
But there is an open to the public fair. There's a farmer's market from 11 to 1, and that's where people who aren't exhibiting might be bringing things to sell, right? Which is jellies, jams, other things. What kind of things get sold?
It's the community garden that collects things from garden members.
Okay.
And then we sell anything that's brought. And we always have potatoes, carrots, garlic, salad dressing. Yeah, a wide range.
Okay.
Dill.
Dill, right? Absolutely.
Flowers. I've seen flowers in the farmer's market. But anything that's grown there in the garden.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, organic.
And those things go quickly, I would say. So do get there early or on time to buy vegetables.
Yeah.
And that's where you can also sign up for your own garden plot for 2026.
Right.
Okay.
And that starts at...
It says 11, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
11 public
Right as the
sign-up.
fair opens.
Yes.
Yeah. Opens public sign up for 2026 plots and self-guided garden tours.
Yes.
What a lovely day. I know we're a week out, but have you looked already at like the 10-day weather report, or have you noticed like whether it's going to be raining or not?
It looks like it could go either way.
Either way at
So,
this point, yeah.
crossing fingers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There is covered space, though, to sit under and eat your food under that. And
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so don't let a little rain scare you off from coming.
I hope that by now Juneauites aren't scared of a little rain
Right.
to do anything, right? We're
We
used to
have
it.
good rain gear.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
And one of the cool things about it is you get to tour the garden, right? And I think that's cool because it might inspire someone to say, hey, because you think of like, I got to create this big garden plot thing, but maybe not. Maybe because I know there's different sizes, right? You can get a half plot and you can share a plot. And so the idea that you have to create an entire thing, especially if you're new to gardening but you want to get involved, this might inspire you, the tour.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to see what you might be able to create and go, I could get a half plot, do a little bit of potatoes, do a little something easy to start with. I don't know if potatoes are easy. I'm assuming
They
they're
are
easy.
super
Okay.
easy. Yeah.
Because,
And they taste like nothing you could ever buy in the store. Seriously.
Right. Well, fresh is, right out of your own garden. There's
So
nothing
good.
like it, right? So that's really cool. The Harvest Fair, just to remind everybody, is next Saturday, August 30th. It starts at 11 o'clock to the public, but you can come in early. Cynthia says you can come in early, especially if you have something to drop off. You need to get there early if you're trying to get in the judged exhibit,
Right.
which is kind of cool. So let's talk a little bit about your own gardening adventures. I just kind of want to hear your stories in terms of like, how did you get into gardening, Heather?
Right. So I had my first vegetable garden when I was in high school. My parents helped me dig that in our own backyard. And ever since then, I've always wanted to garden vegetables and a little bit of flowers and herbs, but mostly vegetables.
Did your parents have a garden?
They helped me. But now my mom is really into it, and she's a master gardener.
Oh.
So she's taken it up as well.
Cool.
But in Juneau, it's just been... It's difficult, right? Because we have a lot of rain, and certain things love it, but certain things don't. And I've been gardening for probably 15 years, and I have finally figured out what my family will eat and I'm good at. Like those two things need to come together. And so is mostly carrots, because carrots that are homegrown taste amazing.
They do.
They don't taste like anything from the grocery store. So my kids love carrots. It's really fun to eat it, like Bugs Bunny with the green heart hanging out. Yeah. And herbs and garden greens, all those things. I love growing those. Beets, rhubarb grows really well here, and rhubarb cobbler is my son's favorite dish. So that's kind of why I garden. I'm not the kind of person that will try to grow tomatoes in a greenhouse and then paint the little blossoms with a paintbrush and try to get them fertilized and all those efforts. That's not me. I'm just like very basic gardener, like,
I gotcha.
Carrots. Yeah.
Carrots.
Carrots.
Give me the carrots.
They're great.
What's the most adventurous you've been in your gardening adventure?
Well, for me, I think the wildest thing that I have is Arctic kiwi. And Ed Byarski sold me 10 years ago 2 vines, a male and a female vine. He said, you have to have 2. And okay, I'll buy 2 from you. And I planted them, and they produced this tiny little fruit that looks like a green grape in September, so it's pretty late. And they're delicious and like sour and sweet, and it's a beautiful vine that grows all over. So you kind of have to have actually a lot of space if you're going to let it grow for 10, 20 years. But that's pretty amazing. And I have gotten asparagus to grow also here, which has been a challenge, but I have gotten some of it to grow. So those are probably my 2 most adventurous.
What's your garden nightmare? What's the worst thing that's ever happened?
Well, I did have a bear pull down the Arctic kiwi one September to eat all of the fruit off of it. So I had to rebuild my husband and I rebuilt my trellis for it. But Cynthia and I were discussing slugs. Probably slugs are the worst. And I've become a real slug killer in the last few years. Heartless, ruthless, really.
What do they do?
Well, they get on your lettuce and they eat little holes into it and leave a slimy trail. But, I mean, I guess that's how you know it's organic, because they're not dying. They're eating your lettuce. So I just have to, get them out of there so I can eat the lettuce.
I see. Yeah. And Cynthia, what's your gardening story? Where did it begin for you?
I've been gardening about 50 years, so quite a while.
Wow.
Also in Oregon, and then came up here and found it was a totally different ball game.
I know. I'm assuming because Oregon's still northwest, but the temperature difference and things like that. Is that what you found? What's the difference in the ball game?
Well, literally in Oregon, we would accidentally drop a seed and then have a plant.
Right.
I mean, we were just pulling stuff out. Yeah. So Willamette Valley gardening and hot summers. So I dropped my bean seeds in here. I was going to grow stuff, and I thought, nothing's growing. So I took the master gardening class, and that helped.
I see. Okay. And so what are your favorite things to garden?
We do exactly the same things. The potatoes, the carrots. We don't have a lot of time in our life. So we make it easy. We stick with the things that we love and we eat.
Is it easier for when you have a community garden plot, which I think is great for those who don't necessarily have room in their garden or in their backyard, or if you even have a yard?
Yeah.
Is it easier to plant those kinds of things because you don't have to go and check it all the time? Like you put the carrots in and you wait a certain number of weeks and you don't have to think about it so much? Or do you still have to moderate it and make sure that you're on task?
It really depends what it is.
Okay.
If it's zucchini, which we grow successfully, it has to be hooped. But because it's hooped, under plastic for warmth, to keep the warmth in, they have to be watered. So some things take more attention than others.
Okay.
Potatoes, just drop
Throw
them
in
the ground.
Throw them in and wait, right?
Say the prayer and say good luck.
What's your favorite thing to grow, Cynthia?
Garlic.
Garlic.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it just that much better out of it?
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
And we are huge garlic eaters.
And what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
The slugs have just come in and mowed down our tender little fennel plants.
Oh.
So sad. So sad, especially if we start stuff from seed inside the house, and for 2 months we watch them grow, and then
and then all of a sudden they're just gone. Wow. Well, I guess you're, cycle of life and all that, right? The slugs got to eat too.
It is, but they could live somewhere else.
They could live
I actually
somewhere.
researched that and
Oh.
found there's no purpose for them.
Really?
Yeah.
Besides destroying gardeners?
There's no purpose.
Gardeners' dreams. Yeah, that's what they do. They're garden killers. I love that. Well, you don't need to be a garden killer. You can go to the Juneau Community Gardens annual Harvest Fair. It's the annual farmers market and exhibit that can be judged, and you can be a part of it. And it brings out the best from Juneau's gardeners. And
We do.
you have a Facebook page.
Juneau Community.
Right, too. So just put in your favorite search engine, Juneau Community Garden. I don't think the garden website is up to date necessarily.
Yeah, it says we're having it, but really Facebook has an event started, and that would be the
there's an event on Facebook.
Right,
Okay.
right.
But tell us where it takes place, so people may not even have to go to the website. Where does it take place at, Heather?
Well, the community garden where it's taking place at is on Montana Creek Road. The entrance to it is across from the gun club, the fish and game space there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's across the road from that. And this year, though, we're having very limited parking, I believe. So Cynthia can tell us about the shuttles.
Yeah, we usually use the gun club's back parking lot for parking, but they're having an event that day. So we've lost, maybe 3/4 of our parking. So we brought in the bulldozers and made more parking in our garden. So most people will be parking inside the garden, and we'll help coordinate that.
Okay.
Yes. But I do encourage people to carpool, and it's going to be beautiful weather, right? So they could walk or ride their bikes even.
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
Is there a shuttle from the church? No,
Yeah.
not this year. Okay.
Did not work
Gotcha.
out.
Didn't work out.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, just walk.
But making more parking with bulldozers, I love it.
Yes.
The ingenuity that needs to happen to make the Harvest Fair go.
Necessity.
Saturday, August 30th. I really appreciate it. Heather Brennan, Cynthia Crable, thank you for coming in and telling us about it. It's so nice.
Thank you.
Congratulations. This is Juneau Afternoon from KTOO. Up next, we'll talk with the Juneau Parks and Rec about Community Day happening tomorrow. But first, let's have a star party.
Let's have a star party. This is Steve Kostis with the Marie Drake Planetarium. I'm going to talk about gamma ray burst. The most energetic event we know in astronomy was the Big Bang. It happened about 15 billion years ago. Now, the second most energetic event we know of in astronomy are gamma ray bursts. They were first detected in the 1970s by classified military satellites, both Russian and American. Their function was to pick up nuclear detonations, which is the only source of gamma rays on planet Earth. Gamma rays are a form of light that's extremely short wavelength, extremely high energy. It has more energy per photon, which is the particle property of light, than X-rays. Now, these gamma ray bursts, in just seconds, they can release as much energy as our sun releases in its 10 billion year lifespan. If a gamma ray burst from 6,000 light years away hit the Earth, it would strip our atmosphere of ozone and cause lethal damage to most of life on the planet. In fact, 450 million years ago, during the Ordovician era, there was a mass extinction, and there is a conjecture that it may have been caused by a gamma ray burst. Currently, all the gamma ray bursts that have been detected have been in other galaxies. None have been detected in our own galaxy. Their origin is believed to be massive stars that have burned up their fuel and collapsed to black holes, and neutron stars that are orbiting each other and spiral and merge, and neutron stars and black holes that are orbiting one another and merge to form a larger black hole. So hope that no gamma ray burst hits us here on Earth. This is Steve Kostis with the Marie Drake Planetarium. We're doing public shows again. Our schedule's on our website at mariedrakeplanetarium.org. Thank you.
From the KTOO Newsroom, I'm Mike Lane. Today is Friday, August 22nd, and on this day, all the way back in 1932, the German flying boat known as the Groenland Wall landed in Juneau on an around-the-world flight. This aircraft was used by Wolfgang von Granau for his pioneering flights. That's a look back at this day in Juneau in 1932.
That's little Mike Lane with his On the Day segment. You can catch Mike every morning during Morning Edition here on KTOO. You are listening to Juneau Afternoon from Studio 2K, dedicated to Carolyn Hobbs Peterson. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Juneau Parks and Recreation Department is sponsoring Community Day tomorrow, August 23rd, from 3 to 6 p.m. at the Eagle Valley Center in Imago Meadows Park. And I have two folks with me here today to discuss all this fun activity that's happening tomorrow. First, I have Amanda Triplett, who is the Eagle Valley Center Coordinator. And, of course, I also have Sunny Mauricio, Communications and Marketing Coordinator for CBJ Parks and Rec. Amanda Gunachishwasiti, how are you today?
I'm well. Thank you very much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And Sunny, what's up? Wasiti.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
It's good to have you here. So, Community Day, and it's at your place.
It's at my place.
Awesome. So, what is Community Day? Who wants to take that?
Yeah, I'll take a stab.
Okay.
So Community Day is just what it sounds like. It's the day where Parks and Rec, CBJ folks come together. We provide a lot of really awesome, amazing games, yard games, bouncy house. Just, we want to bring the community together. We want people to mingle. We want to chit chat and have some good food.
Is it sort of like an end of summer celebration, or does it always happen around this time, or?
This time-ish.
Ish, okay.
This time-ish.
Okay. And because I know the Parks and Rec puts on so many things, but this one is really just a celebration of community. Just come together, have a good time, and also check out the Eagle Valley Center, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if folks haven't ever been to the Eagle Valley Center, it's definitely worth coming and looking at. It's a wonderful space to rent if you have family gatherings, corporate events. And if you've never been out there or you're interested in checking it out for a large group, now's the time.
Now's the time to do it. And Sunny, so this is part of, I know you guys had the month of play. You have all kinds of things that you do over the summer. Is this sort of like a culmination of that too, in terms of like your summer celebrations?
Yeah, pretty much. I know in years past we've had the Community Day correspond with Month of Play, and we've decided to kind of solo it out and have it be its own event. I think it's a nice way to kind of wrap up summer.
Yeah.
Enter into the school year, bring everybody together, and just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, I guess school just started, right? And I know the Juneau School District started, and I know college starts on Monday, and then Labor Day, which to me always signaled the end of summer, to my mind, even though I know summer technically continues a little bit further than that. But it always was for me like, oh yeah, summer's over at Labor Day, right? And so this seems like a great way to kind of end the summer, get together with folks. So it's 3 to 6 p.m., and it's family friendly. What's going to be happening during Community Day?
So we have a wide list of different events. So we have a lot of food and treats from a lot of local favorite restaurants. So Bullwinkle's, we're going to have some pizza. We're going to have some treats from The Grind, 4 Plates, the Alaska Fudge Company. We have a bouncy house for kids to participate in. We have face painting from 4 to 5. The Juneau Audubon Society is going to be doing guided bird walks, birding 101. And then we also have Sale, who has opened up the High Ropes Challenge course. And so if you've never been out to the Eagle Valley Center to see the ropes course, it's a great opportunity to test it out, see all the different...
people could do it?
Yeah, people can do it. Sale's going to be there with their harnesses and helmets and guiding people through.
Oh, wow. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I also wonder, Amanda, you mentioned that there's a bouncy house for kids. Have you had the thought of having a bouncy house for adults?
Yes, we have had that thought. Unfortunately, not at Community Day, but, check back.
Okay.
But for adults and kids, we have a great lineup of live music. So we have 3 Juneau musicians, 3 different local musicians that are going to be playing. Nina Edwards at 3:30, Cherie Bowman at 4:15, and then wrapping it up at 5 o'clock, the band Ricefield.
Nice. Okay. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, local artists. And I know, I'm sure a lot of local people probably recognize a few of those names. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's also going to be like other kinds of games and stuff that you can do.
Yeah, so a lot of big yard games. So I saw Sonny bringing in like big Jenga, big checkers.
Oh, nice.
Badminton. What are some those other?
Bocce ball.
The
big targets with the foam axes you can throw.
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
What is it? You throw the ball on it and it bounce side, miss it. Lots of fun yard games that people can play with their family.
And this is all happening for the low price of what?
Free 99.
Free 99. Free 9 to none. I love that answer. That's a great answer. So it's all free.
It's all free. It's all free. It's very low key. Very come at your leisure, check it out, float around, see the different sites, play a few different games, eat some music.
That is really nice.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun. Amanda, can you tell us a little bit more about, for those who don't know, and I'm one of them, about the Eagle Valley Center?
Yeah. So the Eagle Valley Center is run by the City and Borough of Juneau. It is also referred to as the Lodge. And if you're from Juneau, you might have heard about it being called the Saga Center. It was formerly owned by Saga. The city took it over. And it's this beautiful facility that on the upstairs, there are 14 different beds and 3 different bedrooms with bathrooms that folks can rent out. A full kitchen, living area. We have conference tables. We have a TV that you can project meetings on. So you could stay overnight and rent it out for larger gatherings, or you could have smaller team building activities there.
How many people can you accommodate?
A total of 16.
Okay.
A total of 16.
Wow, that would be, it sounds like a great. And they can all stay there.
They can all things out there this summer, so it's a beautiful place for weddings or other gatherings.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, Sonny was married out there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
That's nice. You got married out there.
Yeah.
That's a good, what do you call that? A testimonial.
Yeah,
right?
A little biased, but
Yeah, that's awesome. And Sonny, I know this is happening tomorrow. August 23rd from 3 to 6. What else is coming up for CBJ in the next couple weeks? Is there other events that are happening?
I know on September 5th, Friday, we haven't announced it yet, but we're doing our Walk Southeast finale. It'll be a live stream on our Facebook, and we'll be giving away 2 Alaska Airline tickets to one of our Walk Southeast participants. So that's...
Oh, nice. Yeah, because Walk Southeast, we talked about that at the beginning of the summer.
Yep.
Who's in the lead? Do you know?
I have not checked. I forget the guy's name. Someone finished first, but I know we have probably upwards of 100 people who've finished all the way from Juneau to Ketchikan, so that's like 290.
But I know it was also like a community battle, right? Like, didn't Juneau win last year?
I think last year was Wrangell.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly.
Well, Juneau's
but
got to bring it
yeah,
home is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So hopefully they'll find out. But that's great that 100 people have finished the whole thing in terms of walking throughout the summer.
Yeah.
What a great thing. So that's going to be happening on the 5th. And you're going to do it as a live stream?
Yeah, it'll be a live stream on our Facebook, and anybody can tune in. We will be announcing that soon. But kind of back to community day, I want to also just add, we're also doing a bunch of door prizes.
Oh, door prizes. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Lots of fun prizes for the kids and the families to win. You enter a raffle, and we'll be announcing those basically in between each artist. And I don't, how many prizes do we have to give away? Like 30 maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of prizes. The community has been very generous in donating door prizes. So
Absolutely. Okay.
Shout out to them.
It sounds just like a wonderful event to get out, bring your family to, take yourself and a friend to. It's family friendly, but it can be for anyone except the bouncy house, apparently. I'm going to trust Amanda on her telling me that we're going to have something fun later for adults in a bouncy house. But other than that, it's going to be a wonderful day tomorrow. How's the weather look tomorrow?
Oh, it's looking great.
Is it?
And which is awesome because we have such an amazing lineup planned. But the one thing, parking is going to be a challenge.
Okay.
So if folks aren't familiar with the parking situation, there isn't a whole lot of parking. So we are going to have some parking managers helping direct and guide people to park. That way no one gets parked in, no one slides off the shoulder. Because it's also silver salmon, it's also king crab, and we're on the Amalga Harbor Road. So there's going to be lots of boat traffic. So we're encouraging folks, it's community day, reach out to your community, try to carpool as much as you can. And we are going to have a van driving up and down the road, kind of picking people up. So if you have to park far away, it's no problem. You can get picked up in the van, and we'll literally drop you off right at the lodge.
I love that. That's perfect. And where do we find out more, Sonny? Where do we follow CBJ, give the website and all that?
Yeah, JuneauParks.org or our Facebook page, Juneau Parks and Recreation. We've got all the information there. We just posted about it about an hour ago. So
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Well, it's wonderful to see you again, Sonny. Wonderful to meet you, Amanda. Did we miss anything, any other details that we want to mention before we get out of here?
I think we covered it all.
Okay. Community Day from CBJ Parks and Rec tomorrow, Saturday, August 23rd from 3 to 6 out at the Eagle Valley Center in Amalga Meadows Park. Bring your whole family. Lots of good stuff happening out there. I really appreciate you being here. Gonna cheese.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That will do it for today's Juneau Afternoon. Juneau Afternoon airs Wednesday through Friday at 3 p.m. right here on KTO Juneau 104.3 and KAUK Juneau Auk Bay 91.7. Hello out the road. Find the show online at ktoo.org/Juneau Afternoon, where you can listen to episodes, subscribe to the podcast, offer feedback or suggestions, or find out how to be a guest on the show. You can also find live stream archives of the show on KTO's YouTube page. Our theme music is by Indian Agent. Programming support comes from listeners and viewers like you, never more important than now, and Alaska Airlines, Club 49, Hanson Grass, and Heritage Coffee Roasting Company. Juneau Afternoon is a project of the KTOO Arts and Culture team. I'm Boston Christopher, producer and host of the program, with help today from Aaron Tripp. Gwyneth Cheesh. You can now hop on over to KXLL at 101.7 or 100.7. Excellent radio. Catch DJ Kelly spinning those afternoon jams from 4 to 5 over there on KXLL. Gwyneth Cheesh, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Juneau Afternoon is off next week. We will return the first week of September. Happy rest of August, everyone. Gwyneth Cheesh.